The crazy wind we've been having the last couple of days here in Shetland has passed, and so now I'm running some simulations to see if we have time to get across the North Sea before the next gale. And it's looking pretty good. This is the perfect use for the departure planning tools in Predict Wind. Very handy. It saves a lot of effort trying to figure this out manually. You can see the gray color is the weather system that is just past north of us, and at the moment it's looking pretty good. Should take about a day or two to cross over to Norway, and I think I'm going to aim for Bergen. Well, I've been in Shetland. I've had my boat here in Lerwick Marina, and while they don't have like bathroom and shower facilities, it's been quite nice. It's like, I think it's one of the most protected areas here. They got a good break wall, and for me that's more important when there's 60 knot winds coming through. And also they didn't charge me because I was only here for a few days, so it's super nice. Just at the end of this pontoon here, but we're about to get pushing off towards Norway. All right, we're pulling out of the marina. We got a bunch of seals following us. Seem to get pretty excited whenever anything in the harbor moves. We're looking about 200 miles to Norway. It should take about 2 days. Spotlights lighting everything up nicely. A few fishing boats coming in. Another one over there. The sky is not really that dark yet. Lots of lights in the harbor. So our Scottish flag is coming down, and the Norwegian flag coming out. Oh, Norway. Norway. This is a nice flag. I found someone who was selling a whole bunch of them on eBay, and I got a bunch of flags at once, so I'm good for like all the countries I want to go to. So we're 2 hours in. I just came down below, kind of building up my my little nest in here, and staying nice and warm. It's actually been not too bad, even though it's into October now in the North Sea. I think it's like in the 50s, but the wind, if it's windy, it makes it cold. But so far we've had just perfect wind, maybe 12, 15 knots on the beam, averaging 5 knots, I think. Doing good. Like 2 hours into the passage. Maybe 3 foot waves. Very, very comfortable boat motion. Staying nice and dry. Really great stars out. I was looking for the northern lights, didn't see it at night, but I'm gonna keep searching for it. Really clear night though. So maybe start snoozing a little bit. We're getting away from shore now. Keeping an eye on the oil rigs. They're kind of scattered all across the chart, and I put little markers on them and measuring how long it would be before I reached them. But it looks like they're a little bit further out, so we should not reach them until tomorrow morning. But you really have to like zoom into these vector charts to be able to make them pop up. I wish they had like a way to just turn all oil rigs on from the far out zoom. But I think I got a strategy that's gonna work. It's the next morning now, and wind died a little bit last night. Still enough to keep us moving, but there's a little more swell action than wind, so it's kind of flogging the sails a bit. Sunrise is nice. Kind of golden ocean looking. So we've been sailing for 12 hours now. We covered about 50 something miles. We're about a third of the way to Norway. And the temperature has even warmed up a bit. It's getting into the mid 50s, maybe even to get up to high 50s. A little bit. My battery's been running a little low. I think maybe the solar panels aren't quite enough to keep it topped off. I turned the fridge off because I don't really need it. It's cold enough at night, I think. I'm cooking up a piece of haggis, and I think I'll eat it with these oat cakes. I kind of stocked up on haggis in the fridge. Might as well put an egg in there too. Eggs and haggis. Well, now we seem to be completely becalmed. Just kind of bobbing around here. Well, the wind should pick up around 5 p.m., so maybe like 3 more hours. And then we can get moving again. It's like a motor, but we'll save that for later. Okay, I just watched a movie. Let's go out and check what's going on again. We are still becalmed. We've been joined by these birds, which are just kind of hanging out with us, riding over the swell. Woo, it's rocky. Rocky and rolly on the boat. I swear the swell's getting bigger, not smaller. I did put down the sail finally. That makes the rolling a bit worse, but it also makes the sound a little better. Looking forward to getting into Norway to take a shower because I didn't have any at the last marina. My hair is like so dirty. It's been a week, I think, maybe 2. Do I jump in the North Sea or not? That is the question. I feel like there's not gonna be any wind until I just jump in. Hooray, we are moving again. Sails are up. And we're headed east. Pretty much the right direction. Maybe a little bit more south than we want, but I think the wind will keep shifting. And we're moving at about almost 3 knots. So way better than the rest of the day where we were just kind of bobbing around. The main is up. We're close hauled. And I just noticed a pink sky. What a sky. That's great. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. We're getting close to halfway. We're also getting close to where the oil rigs start showing up, oil platforms. So I'll have to start keeping a watch for those. They are marked on the chart, maybe on the AIS too, I don't know. But it should be pretty easy to avoid them. Just have to kind of, what I do is I just measure how far they are away and how long it would take for the boat to get there if it sailed straight there. And that's when how I adjust my watch interval. So it's 1 a.m. and of course it started raining, which also somehow always means I have to go outside and do a tack. You can see the oil rigs out here now. Off in the distance, see the lights. There's a bunch over there. And pretty much lost the wind, but there's a slight amount of wind, so we should do a tack. We're going at about a knot. Morning number 2, crossing the North Sea. Wind just switched to 180 degrees again, so I am out in the cockpit. Going. There are oil rigs everywhere. There's other 2 we were headed towards this morning. So this little shape inside the red circle is an oil rig. And you see when you zoom out on these vector charts in avionics, eventually at a certain point, there they go, all the oil rigs, they disappear. And what I did is I added these blue and white circles. These are waypoints that I added myself, and you see when I zoom out further, they don't disappear. Well, eventually they do, but they stay visible longer. And that way, when I'm in my zoomed out state, I can see if I'm going to be coming up on an oil rig that I need to kind of pay attention to. Okay. Sailing into the sunrise. The wind switched 180 degrees, so we got the waves coming from the front and the wind from behind. I just dropped the mainsail.
The sun's about to go down. We made pretty good mileage today. We've been going downwind. I've just been using the jib so it would steer better. About 16 knots of wind, I'd say. We should make landfall probably around midnight tonight. And I just noticed my battery monitor is saying our batteries are at 10 volts, which I suspect that we'll be able to start the engine with the batteries that low. So looks like I can find a spot to anchor until I get some sun and top them off and motor into Bergen the next day, hopefully, or the day after that, whenever there is sun. I could try to start it and run the motor now and see if it works. Just like top off the batteries with the alternator, but I'm not too optimistic about that plan. Yeah, no luck starting the motor. I don't really know what's going on with the battery. I mean, I turned the refrigerator off right when I left for the trip, when I realized the batteries were getting a little low. We had 12 volts yesterday, 12.5 volts. There just wasn't much sun today, I guess. The only power I've been using is to charge my phones and to run the nav lights. I guess I turned off my backup phone so that will have battery. I've got my spare battery on my phone so I can run the chart plotter if I need to come in and the boat doesn't have any power. Maybe I'll turn off my GPS tracker. Any other non-essentials? On a positive note, because the batteries ran all the way low and then there wasn't solar for a little bit, my charge controller reset and now I'm able to use the app. And you can see there's just been a few days we didn't get enough sun to top off the batteries. So our wind just picked up, and instead of sailing into the tiny little inlet, I decided to sail a little further south because I don't have the possibility of starting the motor. We'll have a wider entrance, more room to sail in, maybe more likely the wind stays consistent too, versus these really narrow cuts that go under. Get into the inside of the kind of archipelago. It's in our favor though. Just gonna go underneath this bridge and just anchor, a good spot to anchor behind it, or maybe a few miles down. So I just looked at the forecast and it's supposed to be rainy for the next week, and it doesn't have any sunshine at all in the forecast. Not that I really trust it, but that's not a good thing when my batteries are down to 11 volts, 11.5 volts or something. I can't start my motor and charge up with the alternator. It's kind of stressful. Oh, maybe I could use the dinghy battery to jump it. We are tacking our way up this inside channel. So it started raining and I'm getting kind of tired of sailing in the rain. The wind has gotten really light too, so I see this little cove up here. I'm gonna try to see if I can sail in and drop the anchor. Hopefully the wind keeps on enough to get myself in here. And I think I need to turn around. It shouldn't be a problem since we're going upwind into it. The entrance is a bit tight though, but this is one of the few areas where it's like shallow enough to drop an anchor. It's like 30 feet in there. It's several hundred feet out here. Pretty cool spot. There's a little house over there. There's a house on the side of the cliff. Okay, we're in, but we lost our wind. I like to go just a little bit further over there, so got the oar. Let's row this boat a little bit further in. I'm gonna try to use this my anchor windlass battery. See if that'll get my motor to start. Okay, we're hooked up. That was a real pain in the butt. I really hope this works this time. Yeah! Okay, start up that battery. These are days where I'm glad to have the Dodger. It's just soaking wet out there. But since we're going upwind, I don't have to stay completely underneath it because it blocks the rain. I really should put like a little bit of a canvas underneath these solar panels because it just pulls down and drifts on you as you're sitting underneath there. But we're sailing to Bergen Harbor. I'll call them up on the radio in another 30 minutes. And we got a ship coming up. A windshield wiper would be a nice addition on the outside. Radioed into customs or the harbor, and they gave me the phone number for customs, so I have to call his phone number, and then I'm going to get a spot to tie off to in the harbor. There we are. I suppose that's as good a spot as any. It'll be kind of crowded here. Maybe I'll move over there a little bit.
Costed 250 Norwegian kroners, which is maybe like $30 to stay here for a night. You just pay through an app here. Here is our track all the way from Lerwick Harbor in Shetland, across the North Sea, through the oil rigs to Bergen. All right, we just, I paid for the slip with the app. Now I gotta go to the airport and get my passport stamped. We're in Florida. All right, we are at the airport. Let's get this passport stamped. All right, passport is stamped. Back to the boat. And I'm 2 for 2 on public transit. I got on the bus going the right direction both ways. I'm usually like 50-50. So I just met up with this friend over here on this wooden sailboat. And he was going to go to the marina just right next door. And I figured I'd go with him because it's cheaper over there. I don't really need to be right in the middle of the city. It's kind of cool to see for one day. But maybe a marina would be nicer and cheaper. So I'm just going to follow him, and he's got the bridge scheduled to open already, so one less thing for me to think about. So let's warm up the motor. And it's also giving me a chance to charge up the batteries. I hate having to charge my batteries up with my alternator. But as you can see, not a lot of sun here this week. All right, we are underway. Chasing down this guy. We gotta make the bridge crossing at 2 p.m. Throttle. Oh, it's a drag race now. So the bridge up here is going to open for us. Well, it's opening right now. Hopefully we make it through. Let's see, it's starting to go up. Oh man. It opens right up. There we go. That's a cool one. Okay, we're in the marina. It's a little bit tight in here. Supposedly the visitor slips are towards the end. All right, so I think I'm in heaven.
We got a marina right here. The pickles out there. And then my new friend Robin showed me the makerspace here. It's got like every tool you could ever want. Well, I gotta look at 3D printers actually. Got a laser cutter. Look at all these 3D printers. All right, so the shower situation here is this weird computer thing. I have to use an app, which I used this in my last marina, so you buy it with the app. Oh, that looks like a good slide. Let's do that. Slide. Oh man. I don't slide in this. Super unslippery. Oh. Okay, this is a lame slide. Very disappointed in the slipperiness of that slide. Today I'm hiking up the mountain just outside of town, town of Bergen. Nice views of the city down there. So my patron, Andrew, has hooked me up with an old battery charger he had and a cord, so now I can keep my batteries topped off in the marina. My old one, of course, was 110, and this one works on European 220 volt. So I will pull the second battery back to the front of the boat. Good to have an extra battery. I think I ought to add to my collection one of those little jump starter things, little portable jump starters for situations like this, especially since I don't have a separate engine and house battery. Thanks for watching. I think that was pretty great weather for North Sea crossing in October. It's got a pretty bad reputation that time of year, or so I've heard. In the next episode, I'll sail down to Haugesund to meet my friend and fellow YouTube sailor Eric of No Bullshit Just Sailing. On that passage, I do get a little taste of the kind of North Sea weather and get kind of near gale conditions. So that was something to look out for. I'll see you guys in the next video.